Good afternoon, brothers and sisters. How are you? I hope everybody is keeping safe and doing well at this time of uncertainty in our lives. I know we have not seen each other for quite some time. We truly miss seeing brothers and sisters in person during the feast, spending time sharing experiences during our regular meetings, and simply spending time to share stories during our regular fellowship. The situation we are now is indeed very extraordinary and challenging and difficult as it affects all of us in various ways and multiple dimensions. It affects the physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, financial, and even the spiritual and emotional aspects of our lives. This pandemic is truly considered as one of the darkest moments in human history. In situations like this, we see man's limitations. Left on our own without the Lord, humankind is brought to a state of such great despair, loneliness, hopelessness, agony, fear, and of course, anxiety. And just like the apostles, as described in the talk last feast, we tend to go back to our old ways. But with the Lord, there is hope. We can experience joy and peace. As Brother Eric and Brother Oliver mentioned, there is dawn, where miracles, abundant graces from our Lord can flow through. I would like to share with you a personal pandemic like experience that tested our faith in the Lord. Just like many of you, we experienced difficulties starting over here in Canada. And these difficulties stem from finding permanent jobs related to our previous experience, the stress of being financially unstable because you do not have a permanent job, acclimatizing to the Canadian weather, and of course, adjusting to the culture and different ways of doing things. However, the most trying time happened just barely 8 months after we arrived here. Our son, Miguel, or Miggy, who was just 6 years old back then, was diagnosed with a rare autoimmune disorder called Kawasaki disease. You probably have heard this Kawasaki disease mentioned lately in the news from CNN, where children in the States, particularly in the city of New York, contracted this disease as an aftermath of COVID exposure back in 2007. This was considered very, very rare, and it only affects children of Asian descent, ranging from ages 6 and 12. There is serious physical ramifications if not treated early, as the disease can cause permanent damage to a child's vascular system, particularly the coronary arteries. How did it start? In the case of Miggy, it's like the flu, where he caught the flu sometime December 2007. He had the usual symptoms: flu, running nose, sore throat, cough. Not worrying, not too worrisome, because we initially thought that this was just a normal flu. We gave him the usual medication and treatment: Tylenol, drinking fluids, sleeping early, bed rest. The fever, however, persisted, and his temperature never went below 39 degrees, even with medication. So we decided to bring him to the walk-in clinic, where he was diagnosed to have a simple sore throat and given antibiotics. After a few days of taking the medicine, his fever still persisted. We rushed him to the ER of the Scarborough Grace Hospital, and he was diagnosed with mumps. And he was placed under observation, but you would see that his neck, the lower neck was swollen. So as a parent, you would know I had mumps, and it was pretty clear that it was mumps. After a day or two, the pediatrician advised that Miggy be confined at the hospital as his fever persisted. I remember feeling frustrated and angry at the physician who was looking after Miggy as he did not provide us with a definitive answer what was wrong with him. We felt so helpless. We see him crying, his health slowly deteriorating as he was losing his energy and feeling lethargic day by day. Really difficult for a parent to see. There was fear and agony in our hearts given the uncertainty of his condition and the long wait time from the attending physician's diagnosis. On a different note, financially, it was also challenging for both me and Sister Malu as we were both contract employees without permanent jobs. And because we were both contract employees, we did not have a drug plan. Funny to note, we did not even know what the drug plan was when we bought that antibiotic from the Shoppers Drug Mart. The pharmacist was asking, "Do you have a drug plan?" And we didn't know what that was. The medication cost us $100 plus dispensing fee. It was very steep fee for us. $100 13 years ago, that was 1.5 weeks worth of groceries for us. So more than a week went by not knowing what Miggy's condition was. There was so much anxiety and fear building in our hearts. Sister Malu and I were so used to being in control of our situation. Everything we will control, we can control. We steered our life. Our personal and career plans were all mapped accordingly. Actions, reactions, all this were thought of. Potential problems were always anticipated with multiple alternatives and options. Our financial resources invested for future use. At that time of Miggy's sickness, we felt for the first time that we were not in control, and that was a different feeling.